I had to get rid of him.
Nah, he was being toxic.
Every time he does this every day, man.
Why are you unbanning him? Just keep him
I don't
banned,
know,
bro.
bro. Man.
Go. One more to go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Onward VRML Channel 2. My name is Grenade Magnet, and we are in for some action tonight between US agents and Nordique Tactique. The first map that we are starting off on is Subway. And looking at the hosts of US agents for this match here, they have played Subway 11 times and won it 8 times. So this clearly is a really good strength for them to come out with, a nice comfortable map that they are able to perform on. And comparing that to Nordique Tactique's 9-4, giving them a 44% win rate here on Subway. This seems to be the stronger map choice against Nordique here. We are still waiting for a handful of people to come on into the lobby, but we will get into the bands. So, Nordique... actually, let's start with home. I'm sorry. Let's start with home. So, they had done on US Agents Bazaar. And Nordique has done Suburbia. Let me actually get that button here. Sorry for the brief delay on it. So these guys clearly do not want to play some extremely popular maps that are very well known to the VRML community and Onward as a whole. Looking at the stats, it looks like these were strategic bans from both sides to kind of eliminate a little bit more of the strengths that each team has, and really just kind of keep it off of some of the standard ones that people like to play, especially with this map pool. Suburbia and Bazaar are very, very popular choices here. And usually you'll see a subway, which we are on tonight to start off with, and maybe a downfall or a custom map. We do have 3 custom maps still in rotation, as this is the last week for this map pool. These are one of the last few matches of this pool for the mid part of the seasons. We still have Arctic, Hook 2.0, and Paradise. I haven't really seen many people play Paradise very much, let alone Hook, but Arctic is played relatively frequently from what I've seen stats-wise. So maybe we'll see a custom map tonight, particularly since Nordique does like to play some tighter maps based on some match history and their strengths for keeping things nice and tight between the opponents. They definitely do like the smaller maps. So we're still waiting on 2 more, one from each side, to enter the lobby before we get those kicked off here. If you have any questions about how VRML operates, you're new to the channel, welcome. And please do post this in the chat. We should have a couple of moderators in here, and myself, as I'll be checking in every now and then to ensure that things are still good. So yeah, welcome. If you're new to Onward, the objective of the game is to punch a 7-digit code into a satellite uplink, which gives you 2 points. And with VRML rules, we do a race to 4, or if you hit 2 points at on a 3 rounds already won, it's to 5 at that point, and it gives you a little bit of an extra bump in the ranking system there. If you do not get the uplink sense, but you do kill the opposing team there, you get 1 point. So sending the uplink is pretty valuable, especially since it is a race to 4. And defending the uplink is considered to be your best and safest bet for remaining with those points. That said, it's not just as simple as that, because the game is in VR, so you do have to operate within your play space to A, not hit anything physically, but B, to crouch or lay down and lean left and right to be able to kind of get a little bit of a peeker's advantage on many occasions. You're also having to communicate between some hand signals if the team is geared towards that, or the radios. Sounds are a very big thing in this. If you haven't played or watched some other casts, it's a very, very detailed game. We do have 1 in from Nordique now, so we're waiting on 1 left from US Agents here. And while we are waiting, let's do a shout out to the sponsors: HyperX, Asterion, ProTube VR, and Border Foods. Sorry, my video seems to be cutting out here. I am unsure as to why that is. I believe the prize pool for the season is now upwards of $7,000 US, and the top 8 teams in the world through the playoffs will be duking it out for that money and additional accessories to quantify up to the $7,000 US there. So if you have any of the sponsors' items or accessories, such as the HyperX mic here that I have, the keyboards or earbuds from HyperX, please do give that a shout out. They do appreciate the mentions, especially with the Onward VR community, and ProTube being a very large contender for the top of the line gun stocks to help keep your aim accurate and straight. While also giving you the flexibility between going from a rifle to a submachine gun if you want to actually adjust your hand grips there without having to do a free-handed shot. It definitely does improve your overall performance with accuracy. I am seeing the final player in the channel now, the lobby here, so we should be starting up shortly. Let's flip into gameplay and get a quick glimpse at where we are. We are on the platform in the center here, a highly capable and defendable uplink. Approaching from the north, we've seen several teams come in and charge with a whole bunch of smoke cover, get them directly in on the uplink, and a very popular method is also to come in from the west stairway. And with that, we have round 1 coming up.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Guys,
Let's get that
Stand
gold
line.
mark, boys. Let's get and girl.
get it.
Let's get that gold mark.
362, 31,
Grenade magnet, wherever you are, if you can hear me,
I'm
hi.
not gonna need it, but whatever.
Hey, shit. Hold on, Isabel. Hold on.
Highlight, as we can hear,
All right, we're going.
they are shooting for the gold with this match to hold it with their rank. We have Lardax putting out a C4 directly above the doorway. This is going to be a critical moment if Lardax does catch the 3 coming through the basement here. That's going to be a very key point in time for defending this uplink as they charge in. Destroyer and P-Seller on the opposite side of the platform, with Seb in the U-turn. Just holding off of the vending machine here. And let's go over towards Light. He is checking out the red room. With Lardax nearby, he might be able to hear these footsteps already. Looks like Mother is going to run into Yogi Berra first, who is nearby with the G36 and has a detonator in hand. Let's find that C4. Not in the hallway. Captain Rogers goes down Seb, but oh, there's C4 just below the pipe.
Eco cat.
An even 4v4 to start this off, with Buckshot and Light coming in from the other side now. Going to go up the stairway and run into Captain Lardax. Those footsteps from Buckshot are definitely audible. Frag grenade coming on out. Is Lardex going to catch him in time? Does not, but Buckshot is going to get this frag grenade out, and it is going to miss. A quick swing around, and it does get shot down. We do have one Volk that did try to flank as well. Light Skin holding off in the back corner as Lardex is pushing this. Does get taken out there with Peace Seller also eliminating one in the U-turn. Clown looking for the refrag. Not going to get that off in that little glimpse there. And with this a 2v2 and nobody directly on uplink, Destroyer is going to rotate back and go from one side of the tracks to the other. Clown is starting to look down in the platform region. And does down Destroyer. Is he going to get this confirmation? Trying, but he just can't seem to reach it. Destroyer able to give the call out as to where he is, and Peace Seller getting that last C4 out.
Echo 2, direct à côté de l'OBJ.
Does get light skinned, so we are in a 1v1 with one Reservoir, but Peace Seller is going to have to cross into Clown's line of fire to get to Destroyer. Clown, as we can see, is laying down, trying to stay as silent as he possibly can, with Peace Seller getting a little bit antsy with the time remaining. Is going to give his position away by audio. Destroyer is obviously looking around for where exactly he went, but with 2 minutes, he would not really have a lot of time to go out and kind of do a flanking here. So they are going to end up running into Peace Seller within the last minute here. These sounds are definitely in critical times with the last minute remaining. And Peace Seller is hearing these and even knows that Clown's going to go around now. But with 50 seconds, Clown's really going to have to push this and cross out. Destroyer is going to be able to see this movement too. So Peace Seller is going to come out and actually start repositioning and challenge this movement. Oh! And while they were glimpsing towards the stairway, Clown's movements just off the side of the substation gives the advantage of an off-meta spot for coming out of that stairway and does get the final kill. US Agent says home is going to take the first round here. So while there was a decent amount of chaos in a couple of seconds, we did have a few breaks here. This C4 in the western staircase did end up working in Nordique's favor, but Captain Lardax was not the one with the dead man switch on it, and Peace Seller did end up getting that kill with the peak all the way down the staircase. Very well played defense. And round number 2 with US Agents on defense is going to try to hold this as best as they can. It seems like they are going to go off in a 4 different direction split. Clown quickly getting into the vending machines, looking for anything on the south, but we seem to have just about the majority of the push going through the basement again, with Peace Seller and Destroyer taking the U-turn. Captain Lardax is now charging into the red room.
North stairs as well. Be on alert, please. North stairs. One hostile, maybe two.
With some callouts early as to where they are going. Nothing in Clown's section of the map here, but Captain Rogers is waiting for the western approach. Buckshot and Destroyer. Eliminating the one in the U-turn with Rogers quickly peeking here on the platform and getting the kill to let Nordique know they are right there on this vicinity to defend it. Destroyer then downing Rogers, freeing up and Lightskin, then freeing up this movement here. We have a cap coming. Yogi's got tablet out. There's nobody here looking his direction. Clearly a brief issue with the code going on. Smoke is dissipating open, and the team does pull it off with one remaining US agent left. Nordique capping with 4 minutes remaining on that, and nobody from US agents to defend this. A very critical set of moments there. When Rogers went down, there was nobody on the uplink directly to defend this. This is going to be a bit of a tougher fight, I think, for US agents if Nordique does keep up the capping rate that we just saw here. It wasn't a very hard push. I mean, there was a 3-2 split, and the coordination between the U-turn and the approach coming in from the west definitely was very well done. The big item was the fact that they did eliminate Rogers from the east stairway. And now with that, if you have eagle eyes, you should be able to see that we are in the southern alley. Another commonly defendable one with several positions coming in through the western alley and the favored southern approach. And coming into this, uh-oh, I heard a shot here. We have everybody from Marsoc on the north platform, and we're gonna see another 3-2 split. Rogers and Clown going north, and looks like a bit of confusion here on where the actual 2 split is going. Ooh, Buckshot downed with a C4 and confirmed by P-Seller. The call for -1 just went out, so they know they are at least in the favor here. Mother is going to have to back off and go around. Bardak sitting directly on it. Yogi Berra in the dumpster with P-Seller watching south, and Seb, the lone one watching the west, is going to not encounter anybody directly here, it seems. Destroyer rotating around for looking for Rogers. Not going to immediately see him, but he may get Clown if he does do another peek there. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still on scoreboard. So let's flip you over to the gameplay with that. Quick peek from Rogers, does not connect with Destroyer. Both very aware of their exact spots. And nobody else looking to back up the Destroyer just yet. Well-placed frag grenade does down, and going to make this an even fight here briefly. Lardax swinging around and getting this last kill here. Lardax is also looking for the kill. Unrouters with a peek. Yogi takes it, and they do trade.
Mais dis si Sebdac se fait tuer, ce que moi j'ai.
Oh, ouais.
Seb looking for Mother, does grab them with a abrupt peek there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Misplaced flashbang. Looks like they are not inhibited by it. Clown pushing around the corner with almost online with Lightskin for that western approach. They're gonna have a bit of a harder time coming in from the west than I think they may be expecting. Seb's not peeking, holding strong. Oh, a little bit more, and fortunately for them, the additional cross on that was a bit more deadly than anticipated. Swinging back up, Lardax has repositioned to watch the western approach with Clown coming around the corner. I don't believe they know where Peace Seller is, just with that peak. They're gonna have to really hold a tighter line on the left here instead of looking towards Lardax on that alley, which is a very popular place to hold. Bit of non-verbal communication, getting some utility out to what appears to be a bit better of a throw than Clown, I think, was comfortable with doing. Peace Seller has repositioned into the more common spot here. 1 minute, 29 seconds remaining. Clown and Lightskin have to start making this push.
Ouais.
Moi là.
Il en reste un. Normalement un.
Looks like we had a count coordination there. I think there was 2 left, but now there is 1, and they had to correct that between each other. With 45 seconds remaining, Lightskin's gonna have to really handle this shot on Peace Seller. Appears they know about where Peace is. Quick pop does not connect. Going down to Lardax, to Lightskin. Lardax is now able to give the call out, saying they crossed over to the other side. 15 seconds remaining. Out in the open is call. And a trade gives Nordique the final count. I think this one went a little bit more awry for US agents than they were expecting, especially after a couple of actions were taken in the western approach, and they tried to regroup and make the best of it as they could, but it ultimately was just barely too little on the time. They did get the trade at the end, but I think more of the angle that was held between the two, being face on, was not the best for surviving that, and did result in that trade there because there was no protection on either side, and if one just had a slightly off on the aim with accuracy, they would have been a little bit more well off and end up winning that round here. So now with Volk, US agents are going to have to regroup on this and figure out how they want to play this to throw off Nordique, who is in the lead by 2, and while not impossible for US agents, it is very doable to win this. They will at least be in position to cap if they go back on Marsoc.
Good lord. Watching right here. I'm an idiot. Jesus.
Clown's gonna watch the southern approach. Rogers tucked away in the back of the alley there. Whoop, some early shots out. I think it was a preemptive shot around the corner here. Lightskin's gonna hold the alley with the 3-2 coming in from the north. May get some action here momentarily.
Ouais.
Still tucked behind the wall, not taking the peek here. Lots of chaos coming out from Lightskin, and ultimately does not make it through all this chaos here. Peace Seller is pushing around and starting to take some shots. Not connecting here. Rogers is peeking for this.
Arrive dans la main. Check-toi.
Y'en a un au bout.
Clown putting some suppressive fire out with Peace Seller rounding the corner for Rogers. This is now more open from the northern approach.
Smoke.
Buckshot's looking back, looking for the late cross. Peace Seller getting the tablet ready. Still not contested. Buckshot is going to have to charge in if they're going to hope to even get this. Nordique is going to take it.
Go.
Nordique with a 5-1 with the frag grenade just a few seconds too late. Very nicely capped on Nordique's side. Smoke was perfectly placed just on the edge of the cappable perimeter. Very nicely done with placement and coordination on this. The western approach didn't seem to have any action there. So with US agents losing their map pick, let's see where we go to for map number 2. And just catching up on the chat here, do have lasers on now. Sorry about the delay. There is a 6-minute stream delay here, and I was not focusing on chat as a primary here. They are on now though, so I apologize for that. We are still waiting on map number 2 with US agents dropping a player. Looks like we're going to be waiting briefly. I'm kind of expecting a custom map based on how US agents does like to Nordique does like to play. They went to tanker a little bit ago, and This was a few weeks ago, and they do like the smaller ones, so they're gonna actually end up choosing Arctic. And yeah, it looks like US agents had to get one person to do an update here. And let's take a quick peek at some stats for US agents on Arctic. They played it 3 times and won once. So this starting off looks like to be a very strong point for Nordique to choose the map. Still waiting on one from US agents to come back in. We may see a little bit more of a delay since this has been about 2 minutes for the player drop. Arctic being a small map, you can get across it in all of 15 seconds from either spawn point. So this is going to be some very close action here. And doing a quick float into gameplay. We are starting out in the southern cars, with these cars easily able to be peeked underneath and around the corners. With a little bit of carry, you can not clip through this and see fully underneath the cars in a southwestern approach and off to the northwest and even direct north. And obviously we have the surrounding areas with the containers and the blue barrels being other common spots. A little bit more of a reserved approach from the center globe. And then the oh so common center warehouse. You can hold just the right angle back here and see in on the uplink. You may see some action over here as well. And US Agents does have their final player in, so we should be seeing the startup here shortly. So while we are waiting, what is your favorite VR accessory? It doesn't have to be Onward or first-person shooter related. But what do you like to utilize for anything VR oriented? You have something for some workout kind of a gear, do throw that out in the chat. Or if it's something other than that kind of a topic, just throw it out in the chat there. It'd be nice to see what other people do like for how they play and what they do like to play with for various types of games.
Code de marde.
Nordique all pushing from the north with an early smoke out for cover, giving their position away. Looks like we're gonna get Seb putting some rounds just down in the area to try to at least get people off the uplink. Yogi and Rogers nearby and not going to hear each other, and Buckshot does get this angle peak that we were looking at earlier. Little brief silence here as Seb does cross behind, and College and Peace Seller downing each other in the south. Lightskin Destroyer facing off. Flashbang too late, and Destroyer coming around getting light skin. Seb is reloading in the warehouse with Destroyer. Captain Rogers came right behind him. Destroyer coming in, clearing out the entire southern approach. Nobody is on uplink. Rogers is off in the north. Lardax on uplink with tablet out. Destroyer gets him and does not allow Lardax to get this cap, making this a 1-0. That was a very nicely played sweep around from Nordique, coming in from north all the way through the western approach, skipping over the maze. A very good tactical move because it did give them the surprise from the back, where US agents just weren't really prepared for this. There was a little bit of confrontation trying to get them to slow down on the turns, but you ultimately had two Volk bodies on the floor as Destroyer and Lardax came in and just pushed. Rogers was just off of the uplink entirely and realized just slightly too late that it was left open and they were the last man standing, so to speak. So, with Nordique's playstyle, I would imagine we're going to see somebody kind of holding back off in the southeast. At least one directly on the cars, and somebody at least in this vicinity between the corner or the concrete barrier. They do typically a good job, in my experience, between scrimcasts from the off-season and previous casts with defending uplinks that are very close in proximity for combat. And immediately, just looking at the scores here for round number 1, Destroyer 4-0. Clearly the strong one in the team for that push. Coming in round number 2.
Fait que je te fais péter quand, là?
I wish I brushed up on French beforehand because I did take it in high school, but it sounds like that was a great joke there. So Peace Seller is holding back on Blue Barrels reserved, and Destroyer holding in the southeast warehouse. A 3-2 split from Nordique. Buckshot coming around. A peek from Destroyer and does take them out, and a swing. Oh, resulting in a trade in the south. This is gonna give Mother the ability to push in a little bit more uncontested until Peace Seller, holding in reserve, is gonna actually get that last spot there. Seb not able to get anything yet on Lightskin or Clown. Yogi's peeking out a little bit more in the distance here. And Mother does get that trade pick right off on Seb. This is a relatively open here. Lardax going down. Still up.
Down at OBG.
Seb coming in for the save on the uplink with the kill, then coming out as they were approaching for the container, looking north. US Agents is on the board. This was a pretty quick round, a little bit quicker than I was expecting. I was expecting, based on how US Agents were playing for a northern approach, to be a little bit more reserved. But it was ultimately a good, quick round with some mid-range trades coming in on the northern lane. And I was expecting a little bit more action in the south, honestly. But nonetheless, US Agents does get the round, and I'm not sure why my camera keeps turning off. I did troubleshoot this earlier, and I didn't have an issue after a little bit, so I apologize for the camera kind of flashing there. So this uplink, I'm a big fan of sitting directly in on the boxes or on the uplink itself for defense, because with how tight this is, you really need to smoke this out to get anywhere near close. Like a flashbang, that'll get you in, but you're not going to have as much cover there.
We can do this. I know we can pull it. That spot
Yeah, we
before.
can.
No, I'm just telling you. Move, you turtle. Get the bell, right?
Looks like Buckshot's going to take the green room with Rogers,
Isabel, watch that south side, please.
and Lightskin holding directly on the boxes. A very northern heavy defense here. I think they were expecting this push. Captain Rogers holding a very tight angle, a little bit exposed because this is a very common spot, but it is very good for getting those crosses nonetheless. And looking at the mini-map, we have two approaching from the south. Rogers waiting for a little bit more of a late cross. Smokes are going to start coming out here. And of course, true honor fashion, right as we switch off to where some action in the south is going to be, we get a few kills in the north here. Captain Rogers does go down after taking out one Marsoc in the north. Seb and Yogi are looking for anything they can see in the immediate area. Clown's not going to be fully visible here yet. But this northern approach, while it was heavy, is a little bit weaker. Buckshot holding a late angle for a cross. There's the pick on Clown in the container. Buckshot giving away his position. Yogi pre-fires and does get that kill in return. US Agents with 2 remaining does have a little bit of an idea as to where Yogi is coming in from. And Lightskin with the final kill with a clear shot. Ugh, I am so sorry, guys. I am just not on my game with this. I am not flipping the gameplay with the dings when I should be. Let me bring this camera a little bit closer. Ugh. I apologize for that with the micro screen. It is clearly I need to pay more attention to that for you. Well, the northern push was very well done from Nordique, and they did clear out 2 people in the northern approach, and then ultimately got picked off one by one through the containers and the green room. With Lightskin having the final defense there, and Mother playing in reserve behind the petrol containers, it was very well defended, particularly with the 2 that were coming in from the south, getting shut down very, very quickly. With this uplink, we may see Nordique end up returning the favor in defense for US agents trying to come in and cap this. But if they're gonna try to get in, they're gonna need a lot of smoke and a lot of clearance of these green rooms. Nordique exploding out. P-Seller dropping a C4 in the globe. And Seb all the way over does get a pick and shut down Mother's approach here real quick. Flashbang out, so going to get Seb, and Mother comes around for the trade on that life there. With the rest of the team approaching from the south, we have one left in the north, and Yogi is underneath the truck getting the pick on Mother, letting them know where they are, and I heard a reaction shot from there, but the silhouette is still there. P-Seller did detonate that C4 and did not connect there, with US agents having still 3 on the southern and mid approach. It says 1 is down still. They may encounter P-Seller real quick, and Buckshot calling out where Destroyer is. There is a little bit of a gap that Destroyer could peek, but doesn't look like that is going to be the case here. There's the final confirmation on Mother. Destroyer downing Lightskin, looking for Buckshot. Did make it into the room. A failed frag grenade somehow does not injure himself there, with Buckshot ultimately winning that in the south. Clown hasn't really progressed through here yet. It's a 2v3, and Yogi is getting aggressive from behind. Not going to catch anybody out in the open here. And Buckshot did make it through the rest of the warehouse in the southeast, with Lardax looking this direction. P-Seller probably gave this call out already here.
arrive chute, ça arrive chute.
Lardax, a buckshot. Just slightly off point. College alumni grabbing the kills for the swing. And they just eliminated the rest of Nordique. Very well done on the push with appropriate coverage from each other. With Lardax peeking out in the doorway, Buckshot was able to grab that kill, and the push from Peace Seller was shut down by Clown. US Agents now with 3-1. We may see Nordique end up losing their map choice here. And now we are on the helicopter, a very difficult one to keep full eyes on the uplink, as you can cap from underneath the platform on the left and right sides of this with full protection on the ramp, giving the ability to put the tablet out over the platform and reach this. We are gonna see some tougher defense here. I would expect US Agents to hold this as best as they can between a couple of spots. A little bit more exploded out, like having one in the warehouse is always a great idea for a reserve to guard against a southern push. And then having somebody out in the northwestern point, so they can kind of get this little glimpse in through the door.
So I feel like I'm doing a little bit of pranking today.
And I didn't expect them to put two in the warehouse, but this may end up being relatively good for the Destroyer, peeking out and getting immediately shot by Captain Rogers. Seb getting light skin on the other side, though. Lots of utility coming out here. Seb looking for these voices. Rogers getting another one. Lardax around the corners for the other side. Peace Seller coming around. Everybody was pushing this warehouse. And a quick and easy round from US Agents. They did that in less than a minute. Again, as I said earlier, we can get into a 15-second conflict point with middle of the map there, and this was definitely proving that Arctic's a very, very small map and very, very good on the point-blank ranges. And let me flip over to map 3, which is now Hook. To relearn my alphabet briefly here, as I find that through the scroll bars there. So 2 customs in the match tonight. I'm a little surprised at Hook, given how many angles there are on all approaches with the uplinks and their locations. Like, there are a lot of places you can tuck in and hide, particularly as I flip back in to get a preview here. We are in the northwest, And there's lots of little tuck-in places behind the boxes, under the stairs, the very popular top of the stairway, the north to southeast view. Very, very popular. It's really deadly between actually getting in here and just giving enough of a peeking angle you can see for these rocks between the trees. And the approach in from the northeast, this is not my favorite approach. And most of these barrels are able to be shot through. Not like something where there's double stack here, to my knowledge, unless they change the collisions. You can't shoot through that, but you can shoot through these single barrels. So they don't give great amount of cover, but they do give you something to at least weaken the bullet. And it looks like we had one drop. So we may have one more from Nordique. Having to grab this map. And while we have a brief intermission here, checking in on chat, Pete saying his grips for the controllers. What grips do you have? Are they the typical, like, kind of over, like a thicker padding for the controller to keep it on your hand more, or is it one that allows you to throw a little bit better? I've seen a couple of variations out there, but I don't use grips, so I don't know what I may be missing. I haven't thrown my controllers yet. I've dropped them on an occasion while fumbling for the tablet or doing a gun stock reclip, because I have a mag tube. But I haven't thrown it yet. So maybe I just don't need it, or maybe I've just learned to adapt over time with it. Still waiting on one more to pop in here. I think Hook was a very commonly banned one, if I remember statistic-wise, just because of the amount of complexity this map has. So it'll be interesting to see how these two teams, where they play well at a short and a mid-range distances, are going to compete for this final map out of the series. With the bell, let's get back up in on the uplink. And here is round one.
C'est la dernière fois qu'on joue.
Ouais.
Arctique, c'est la dernière fois
La
aussi.
dernière. Ouais. On aurait pu la faire, ouais, c'est ça.
Looks like Lardax and Destroyer are going to be holding nearby in the uplink, with Yogi looking long for a peek. Looking for a tiny little glimpse in the southeast there, but flying on over to US agents. They're taking more of the center approach here, with
Lie down.
Captain Rogers telling him to slow and quiet down. Looking for Seb. Nothing yet, but Seb is looking long. Giving a quick call out as to sounds and shots out on Rogers for a little bit of suppression there. One laser coming through, just barely missing the head. And Rogers does get that kill ultimately after a little bit of a suppression and a slowdown.
Guys, I got the guy in the building. I got him.
Yogi's now shifted to peek in directly on this cross.
Gardera la gauche, garde la gauche de la bâtisse. Dès je watch la droite.
Looks like Yogi's gonna back off and take a peek on the opposite side with nothing there to see.
Watch la droite de la bâtisse parce que c'est le dark était là.
Lardax is looking through on a tiny little angle.
De toute façon à ta droite, je vais te le dire.
Rogers might get caught out here.
Il y en a un qui tire à partir de la grotte à peu près là.
They have slowed down the approach, so this may play well for them with the patience on Nordique with some shifting positions.
Which top building? The window? That one? Oh, we got 350.
Yogi looking long, not seeing anything just yet, but Clown is out in the open.
I think I just saw someone north. I have nowhere, no what stroke, no way at all. I'm afraid. You know?
Rather effective communication from Clown. It does get some lasers pointing that direction here. Lardax catches Rogers out in the open as we were anticipating for this cross, which is going to leave Mother with having to put some smoke out to at least give a bit better of a cross. Looking long, but not going to see exactly where Lardax is. P-Seller does have the detonator in hand, looking for a tiny little peek
Toujours bravo, Cap.
coming in there. With Lardax still looking for Mother, they are not going to see this approach, but Yogi is going to see this here in a second. Oh! And just like in true Onward fashion, they're going to miss paths. 2 minutes remaining. US agents are going to have to make this push. With only 3 to Nordique's 4. Ooh. C4, as we can see, a little bit late in the placement. Destroyer coming around looking for it. Not gonna get this initial peek, but P-Seller is looking for that leg. So now after that confirmation, this is gonna be a little bit harder for Clown and Lightskin to push in and get the final kills here. Destroyer backing off of where the initial confirmation shot was. It's gonna make this a harder push to breach through. 1 minute remaining. P-Seller with that tiny little angle on the window. I said earlier, this map is all about complexity with angles. Destroyer and Lightskin face to face. And Destroyer getting the quicker glimpse. 48 seconds remaining. And Nordique is going to take the first point on the map. So, this may be the pace that I was expecting out of both sides here. We'll see how Nordique actually does execute this. But with how complex this map is, we are going to see the time running down a lot more because there are just so many places you can turn into a little hidey hole and get that little angle like P-Seller was demonstrating. Because those angles are what win this map. There's no doubt about it. This is a very complex map to deal with, especially on this courtyard in particular. And there's this second floor window here that does give you a little bit of a glimpse, but not too much. It's really more of a late pick, but you're not going to be looking too well through that courtyard out in the open looking for this particular angle. You're going to be a little bit more concerned about what's in the ground floor and able to grab you off your guard. And round number 2.
One round doesn't define it. I know we can beat them on this map.
With US agents having 4. We just encountered the latest Onward bug. It doesn't look like they're actually going to catch it. Oh, okay, there's Mother. Whew.
AKs are good.
That has caught a couple of teams off guard this season, with a 4th person not spawning in. Early shots from Peace Seller looking for this cross here on Clown. Destroyer also looking for Rogers in the window. This is a very, very deadly place to be hanging out. Rogers is pinned there.
Don't answer me, that's fine. Might be dead. Doubt it. That HUD, I think. That. I'm not. Yeah.
Mother rightfully concerned that that Rogers is going to peek this with Destroyer and Lardax. Look in this direction. He's going to have to maneuver successfully and start looking. Yogi Berra is also here too. Challenge this angle. And the defense has shifted a bit. Rogers getting a little aggressive. Does end up getting Yogi with Destroyer right behind him. And getting the double. Lardax still holding that building, looking for Mother. Smoke obscuring Lardax's view on this now, while giving a bit of cover. Does end up hurting the angle against Mother. Seb sneaking in from the east.
2.
Not discovered yet. And there's the discovery there. Rogers challenging Peace Seller. Not looking that direction. Peace Seller aware of that and does get a better grab on the angle. Mother looking for the refrag. Grabbing some utility as the lone Nordique ultimately not going to provide much of a benefit, with Mother's aggressive playing in the northwest corner of the courtyard. So with 3 minutes remaining on that one, that was a bit faster of a push than we saw from US agents. But it wasn't something that was where they got caught off all out in the open. It was really just kind of picking away at at the attacking forces that ultimately got the win for U.S. agents. Nothing greatly off on their approach from Marsoc there either. Really just fell to some aggression from Captain Rogers, really defending that courtyard entryway. So with the 3-2 split with center and then from the southwest, there wasn't really much that I saw that was a major point of detriment. It was just a matter of trying to breach that perimeter and get into the courtyard to at least fight that next type of fight, because we are out in the open a little bit more as the approach from the pond turns into a more urban environment. And with the uplink in the northeast, we're going to have a round reset. Start off. U.S. agents executing that gives maybe a little bit of an insight as to what utility we may see here coming out in this round.
Ready as quick as possible when that happens. I don't want to do that.
Got
That
it
was
then.
kind of funny.
Pixel soft
Hey, hey, Harvard, why don't you follow me like a little dog?
Clown
everybody
clearly challenging the shark.
Is it just me?
Don't talk about grenade magnets. He crapped on us a while ago. This is light, right? This is light.
A 3-2 split coming in from the eastern approach, with Rogers and Clown taking the far wall and deploying some smoke. Yogi's going to give this call out in a very off-meta position. And Lightskin looking for this angle here.
-1.
Captain does get the grab on Yogi with
Hold on.
that rock.
Who's with, oh, yeah. Hey,
Clearing out a little bit more of the southeastern approach in, but they have a lot of open ground to cover coming into the courtyard. This is going to be still a difficult fight if they don't synchronize this very effectively.
fuck, I'm gonna get up. No, not fuck. Light, I'm gonna get up top.
Collaterals. Stand separate, stand separate.
A little bit of communication
Hey.
now, looking for
Hey! How are you?
this pick. Lightskin
Did you
trying
guys wanna
to
go
get a little bit of a glimpse. Is
Yeah.
not going to see anything
Go get some coffee.
according to
Wait, no, I don't
our
like
review
coffee,
here.
though. Coffee's kind of disgusting. You can just get plain whole milk. Bro, coffee is disgusting, Harvard. I don't care. Coffee is not. I don't.
some light conversations coming out, and the destroyer grabs Captain Rogers while they are on the wall. Clown getting a
Got one right side, Rogers is dead.
Peace Seller instead of destroyer. Destroyer coming around for a readjustment, looking at a refrag. Not gonna see this so far, but he may come out. Oh, they are gonna poke out. And a trade ultimately with Destroyer still up. And an aggressive and unexpected flank from Seb, clearing out the center platform, making this a 1v1 with one revivable. Lardax is going to have to move to at least get on the uplink and make this a better situation. They are going to get this revive out. 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for a regroup and a reassessment on Buckshot's approach. Looks like a smoke grenade was grabbed off of Mother. And an alley-oop over is pretty successful, not on the roof. Buckshot's going to also get a flashbang to deal with. Nothing's going to connect here yet, though. With 2 minutes remaining, Destroyer could flank around and encounter. Buckshot clearly playing some guerrilla warfare here, trying to get somebody to move out in the open and panic. Lardax is going to rotate off just a little bit, but seems like that pre-fire gave Buckshot's position away. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. Buckshot's gonna have to really push this. Another utility grab. Seems like plenty of ammo still in the box. Oh, and I stand corrected. There was no ammo in that box. 1 minute remaining. Buck is really gonna have to push this. 57. Flashbang out. Lardax is still covered. Lardax and Destroyer to play the defensive game and not peek, but Lardax looking for that kill does go down, and Destroyer defending it with 36 seconds remaining, and Nordique is now on the board with 2 here. We're probably going to see another trade of rounds with US agents. Really kind of how equally paired teams on a map ultimately do, with one little slip up giving the opportunity for a cap. It's really kind of where it comes down to. Because if one cap happens with Nordique on Marsop, it is very viable that this could be a serious decider with Nordique taking the map 1 and 3. The only thing that I really saw of detriment for US Agents push was this elimination of 2 key players on the center platform, with Seb coming around with an unexpected flank, taking out Mother and Lightskin. That did eliminate the threat from the center on the southern approach. And that ultimately left Buckshot to his own devices, coming in as best as he could.
Like there's grenade magnet and then there's bullet magnet. You're the bullet magnet.
Yeah.
Grenade magnet, bullet magnet. I'm on this side.
We have Homeland Esports, my team, has faced US Agents a couple of times in some scrims, so we are very friendly. So clearly we're getting some nicknames going on here.
Okay.
Seb looking to cause a little bit of chaos as best they can with quick spawn, giving some time to the other team in the center and southern approach.
fenêtre, le gars peut me voir par la fenêtre.
Gonna at least pin down everybody for this 3-2 split that we are seeing here, with 3 sitting directly on the uplink and an additional 2 in the south. Lightskin in an interesting spot, playing on the cannons, but Buckshot is going to take down Lardax on the approach in, not removing Seb with the 249. Is going to at least give Nordique a bit more of that suppression fire from the northern approach. And oh, a well-placed grenade, making this another one downed in the center. Lightskin holding that late angle definitely was helpful here for them. And Seb is also going to challenge it seems, as well. 4 minutes remaining. Nordique could take their time with this approach and try to surgically remove Lightskin and Buckshot. Looks like his head's peeking just up enough. Oh! C4. Ultimately making this a 1v5. US agents looking to tie this with a 2-2. And they do with a very well-placed defense. Seb's early shots out did at least cause a little bit of the chaos from the north, and giving the opportunity for the 2 flankers to come around in the center, but ultimately not make any breach into the courtyard because of the full approach from the south and the east being well defended with a crouch position on cannons. Did give the peeking advantage, but the suppression in the north, while useful, only was good for the first few seconds, it seems, because everybody was already sat down in their positions. They were just gonna sit there and hold the angles. There wasn't anything that Seb could have shot at in particular to make much more of a difference for the breaching point on that courtyard, which was the key to getting in there. They would have at least needed to put some smokes out to allow the crossway into the arch to get in here, because this would have given them the concealment, but ultimately it just wasn't an effective push for Nordique. Now with this uplink on the platform, we can get this initial cross being very deadly. We already see the angles being held here on US agent's side. Lardax charging head on into it. Does get down with Seb looking for that revive. It's gonna make this safe. Effectively just reducing the health there. Clown College is charging hard on in with Rogers. Peace Seller is gonna hear these and not get surprised. Seb and Destroyer holding directly on the uplink with not a lot of overall protection, as you can shoot these barrels and just keep nailing them and get the kills, but Peace is at least going to give them a little bit more of a heads up through the south western approach. Still 2 in reserve, looking for this peak here. Lightskin could with a couple of well-placed shots and hit something, but Destroyer's definitely got this call out there, and Gonna
When
temporarily
you go up there, remember, check
not
that
get
side
a
that we
pick
practiced.
here.
Go up there very slowly. Top shed yet. Don't top shed yet. Wait for us.
Nice little angle from Destroyer on light skin with Mother maneuvering around. Nothing connects directly there, but it does at least
Ok, il est encore là.
get the head down.
Ils sont patients, ces gars.
And say this is definitely not a safe window to re-peek again. Alumni and Buckshot holding just a little bit longer to let the other two get right in position and try to get this call out here, but Destroyer and Seb really locking this window and entryway down. And with that, we're going to see a little bit of a change up on tactics with the push from Lightskin and Mother, while Buckshot and Alumni are still in a holding pattern. 3 minutes remaining. We're going to see something coming up here shortly. Oh, Yogi with the cannon defending points. Getting a little bit of a longer kind of a pick, does not ultimately see Buckshot. And that surgically removes one more, but Peace Seller is where the next set of action is going to be. One body seen there and not giving the hint to where Peace Seller was hanging out, but Mother now directly knows what's going on. And well-placed smoke does give the reposition. Very nicely executed here as Mother's going to come around, realize this is not a friendly. Ooh. Self-flash. It's gonna reduce the utility there just a little bit, but got a smoke remaining. Not gonna be very helpful for this particular situation. Mother is choosing to disengage and put some distance between Peace Seller. And with 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, Buckshot's still holding in on the top of the apartment, clearing out the uplink for Mother here, who's going to start looking and going to see Destroyer in a second. But Buckshot does get the shots out through the wood and get that angle. Peace Seller has to collapse back in with Lardax, who's swung all the way around. And Buckshot looking behind, getting all the action here. Peace Seller, the sole bulk on Nordique with 50 seconds remaining, has to defend this. There's this tiny little angle that could be held and seen. 30 seconds remaining for Marsoc to move in. Very wise decision on Peace to hold this particular point. Clown is not nearby to cap yet. I believe a cap could be done from this platform. But 12 seconds remaining is the remaining time for US agents to get that push in and clear it out. Now giving them the map point and series points on the center platform. with the ability to defend this from several different angles here. The stairway where Peace Seller was, where they went down, giving a little bit more of that cross angle from behind. But with this stairway, while you're open, you can see all the way up north. So, Nordique, if they are going to attempt to get their map point, needs to put in the code and get this uplink done with a little bit of finesse. There's lots of different angles on the rocks and the surrounding buildings to protect this uplink, but not really a great hard point to sit directly on it as Volk to get that cap prevention, because this is all wood. We had said earlier, this is easily something you could shoot through. And with the bell, let's see what happens on this cross.
Dude, it's like it's right out in front of me. Dude, it's like it's right out in front of me.
Hey, Raiders, let's get grenades back there.
Nordique also looking for this cross here. Seb with the 249. Early shots out as well. Nothing down any players here yet, but it does give their heads a little bit of a tuck down to get into position. Buckshot looking for any angle on the north here, is not going to see much of significance, but Destroyer around the corner. Not ready for the peak. Looks like the clacker was in hand, but did not have the gun in the other. Lots of smokes coming out. Reseller is approaching. Tablet's out. Getting the code. We're gonna see Peace Seller pull this off. I don't see anybody around from behind. Doesn't look like he got the code in there. Can't really reach, it seems, unless he's standing. Yogi approaching from the rear. Peace Seller going down to Rogers, clearing out the uplink. Destroyer nearby and downed. US Agents wins with protecting the uplink. Very, very intense there with Peace Seller right nearby, trying to get that code in, and ultimately couldn't reach from the position they were holding. That would have been a game changer for Nordique coming in and taking the final round. Very nicely played on both sides. Nordique getting so close with all those smokes and getting somebody within capping distance, but ultimately just barely out of reach. This is a harder one to get on if you don't really do it well with smokes, and if there's nobody clearing out a Volk position in these surrounding buildings. While a little bit exposed, this angle would have probably seen the shot in on Peace Seller, but that was very, very well done for pushing in. And then US Agents clearing that out with Captain Rogers swooping in and saving the day on this uplink cap was very vital in this round. Very, very vital. Well, that was very well played on both sides. We have US Agents taking the series with Arctic and Hook, 2 custom maps. Thank you for stopping around. Sorry for the overlay issues I was having earlier. Clearly was just not 100% on my game with that. So hopefully I pick that back up for you in return to make it up for you guys. And thanks for a little bit of the chat interaction there. Well, with that, please do check out the website for more information on the sponsors Border Foods, Pro2VR, Asterion, HyperX, and others. We will be having some more casters coming up in the next couple of weeks. Cynthia is hosting more Spanish-oriented ones, as we have seen an uptick in Spanish teams joining VRML. So we are going to have a little bit more coverage on that front in a different language, which is new. And with map pool number 3 coming up next week, we do have community casters open up to start partaking. There are some unique rules around that, just to be aware of. If you do want to participate in a community cast, there are 2 channels to coordinate those with and deconflict against the VRML casters. So do check those out if you're interested. And that starts tomorrow, the 31st. Well, I am Grenade Magnet. Please do feel free to check out my Twitter, Grenade Magnet VR, and same with Twitch. I will be doing some off-season scrimcasts as we are approaching towards the end of the map pool and ultimately playoffs a few weeks later after that. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.